Morning, happy Tuesday, happy book review day. Today's book is another audiobook. This is Sinead O'Connor's Rememberings. Sorry, not a great image. Anyway, um, gosh, her passing prompted me to listen to this book. I'd had it on my list for a while of a book to read or listen to, and I don't know, somehow I overlooked it, and I'm kind of bummed that I did because it really is a wonderful book. Um, I remember in the 90s hearing the song I first heard of hers was Nothing Compares to You, her cover of the Prince song. And I remember getting the album and then listening to it and not loving the rest of the album. But, I was 12 or 13, something like that. And, but I did, for some reason, hear that her first album, The Lion and the Cobra, was better. I don't know. I don't remember who told me that. But I did go back and get that. And that still is my favorite album of hers. It's one that I listen to pretty regularly. It's almost always in a playlist of some kind. And it's a little bit more rocking. Um, where, the second album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got. That one is a little more, I don't know, processed or synth. I don't know. I don't know a good way of describing. Anyway, the book, really, that's the thing I'm supposed to talk about. The book is wonderful. It really is just Sinead, and she reads it, which is part of the reason to listen to the audiobook for my mind. And she tells you stories about her life and just so much stuff I didn't know. She addresses, when she first shaved her head and why. And um, she talks about the abuse she suffered at her mother's hands and her relationship with her father. And there's one whole chapter dedicated to all of her albums where she literally tells you the story of each album and then tells you this is what this song's about, and this song's about this, and this song's about that. And this is my favorite song. This is my best singing. And it was a really wonderful way to go back and rediscover or revisit her discography. Um, it made me really appreciate albums that I had overlooked, um, and and reinforce things that I already enjoyed, I guess, about her music. Um, she talks about obviously tearing up the picture of the Pope, becoming a pariah. She talks about meeting Prince and how he was very physically aggressive, and she, essentially ran away from that encounter. And so there's a lot of stuff in there. She talks about um, all of her children and um, her four children and her how each of them have a different father and how she was married different times and addresses stuff very frankly. She talks about her suicide attempts and her struggles with mental illness and her hospitalizations. Um, this comes out, I think, in 2021 is when it was published. Um, so, it's just before her youngest son, Shane, um, is found dead in 2022. And, but you get the sense of her great love of music and her great love of her children all throughout the book. Um, it's not a long listen. It's really compelling to hear her tell those stories because it is just like you're sitting down listening to her, and kind of like Dave Grohl's storyteller. Um, there's a through line, but it's not like a straight narrative necessarily. It's not like I was born and then this happened. She kind of jumps around and she tells the story she feels like telling. But I would definitely recommend if you like music and if you have any inkling of interest in Sinead, to give Rememberings a read or a listen. Totally worth it. So I loved it. Great. Have a great day. Please let me know what you're reading. Again, I always like recommendations. I love hearing what other people are finding interesting out there. And if you've read Sinead's Rememberings, let me know what you thought. Have a good one.